What are these teams doing? Why does nobody want the first pick in the 2025 NFL draft? I'm just confused right now. I just don't even know what to say. Like, why are they winning these games and not trying to get the first pick? Like, you have Cam Ward, you have Shadur, you have Travis Hunter. I thought these guys were generational guys, and it seems like nobody wants them or nobody wants to tank for them. We saw people tanking for Caleb Williams. We saw people tanking for Bryce Young, and maybe the NFL really put a stop to tanking. And if they did, that's amazing. That would be really awesome. But I just don't get what the GMs are doing. Everybody thought Shadur to the Giants was a lock. We thought that was really going to happen. We thought that they were going to make sure to lose. Or we thought it was a lock to the Oakland Raiders. Now the Oakland Raiders are not even in the top 5 in the draft. And the New York Giants sit at 4. So I'm really confused because he's not going to get drafted by the Patriots. That's not going to happen. They have Drake May. I don't see Deion. Deion wouldn't want him to go there. They already have a quarterback. He's just not going to get drafted there. Maybe Travis Hunter get drafted there. That's probably, I think, a really good fit for him. But when you look at number 2, the Tennessee Titans, I don't think Shadur would want to go there. So I think that they'll end up drafting Cam Ward, I guess, or either, if a team maybe might trade up, to the first pick, and then they, end up doing something different. But really right now, New England and Tennessee are really winning a lot of money right now and a lot of draft picks, because now the other teams are going to have to trade up now. Instead of, if they just lost, they're going to have to trade up to be able to draft one of the 2 top quarterbacks, because after the top 2 quarterbacks, let's be honest, it falls off a lot from Quinn Ewers to Carson Beck. The drop-off is pretty big, Also, Jalen Milroe, those guys to me are not in the same class as Shadur and Cam Ward. But as we can see, teams are not wanting to tank for them, which is, to me, it's a sign that that's not that good, that the teams and the scouts don't think that highly of those 2 guys. But at the same time, every year, what do we see? The scouts overhype, the media overhype certain quarterbacks, and then they usually 90% of the quarterbacks drafted in the top 5 picks in the NFL don't work out. They're not starting after a few years. We've seen it with Zach Wilson. We saw it with Jameis. We saw it with Marcus Mariota. We saw it. Anthony Richardson's about to get benched. They already benched Bryce Young, but now he's back starting again. Like, the list goes on and on and on of guys that are either backups now or, their career is already on a downward trajectory, and they've been in the league not too long. Mitch Trubisky, another example. He got drafted very high. Deshaun Watson at this point, we see what happened to him. But it's an alarming sign to see that, what these teams are doing. The Raiders and the Giants, mostly I'm talking about y'all. Why don't y'all want the first pick? Y'all need a quarterback. You need someone to change up the franchise. Are the Giants going to stick with Drew Lock? No way. No how. So I'm guessing, they just think that these, they'll trade up, or one of these other teams will win next week, because the season only has one more week. So I think that the top 3 teams will lose next week to secure their top 3, picks. And so the Giants and also the Raiders, who really need a quarterback, y'all are going to be screwed, because now Tennessee, who also needs a quarterback really bad, Will Levis's era is over there. So Mason Rudolph's era is over there. So they're going to draft probably a quarterback, I'm guessing, or a team's going to have to, try to trade with them, and they're going to have to give them a king's ransom for them to trade down and not take one of these 2 quarterbacks. Or if they're just in love with Travis Hunter, I could see them taking Travis Hunter. But with this draft order, I think New England would take Travis Hunter. He'd be a perfect fit there. And, they probably utilize him best there, and they need talent on both sides of the ball. So he could realistically play both sides of the ball there. But It looks like Tennessee will get one of these top quarterbacks. Then you have Cleveland. Cleveland is a contender secretly to draft a quarterback. They're not going to keep Jameis Winston. Deshaun Watson is coming off a torn Achilles. It's no telling when he'll be back. He might miss the whole season next year. They already restructured his deal. He might not even play. So why not draft a quarterback, be developing him? You don't have much salary cap. So, you could do that. I think that's a possibility. That could really happen. I don't know if you want him, mentored by Deshaun Watson, but who knows? I don't think he'll be there much because he's going to be rehabbing from that Achilles. And we've seen what the Achilles injury did to Aaron Rodgers and other players in the past. That's a very hard injury to get over. So Cleveland could draft one of these quarterbacks. But we know, let's be honest, we know that Deion's son isn't going to Tennessee or to Cleveland or to even Jacksonville. But they have Trevor Lawrence. I think they'll stick with him. He wants his son to go to a big market. That's why I'm really surprised that the Raiders didn't make sure they lost and the Giants didn't. I'm just surprised they didn't keep losing so that they could guarantee to bring him in. He'll get views, he'll get you clicks and all that. And I think that'd be needed. Even Cam Ward, I think that a lot of people have watched Cam Ward this year. He went to Miami. He's a pretty big name. He would bring a lot of hype to, the Raiders or the Giants. I'm pretty sure that Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders are going to be pretty bummed if they get drafted to Tennessee and Cleveland. That's really not where they expected they're going to be going. They thought they'd be going to more big market teams. If you do get drafted by Cleveland, though, at least you have a very talented roster around you, and you could probably turn that around easier and quicker than if you got drafted to a Tennessee. Their roster is not that good. Or if you got drafted to the Giants, their roster is not that good either, and they don't really have a offensive line. They definitely need some linemen. Or also the Raiders. The Raiders roster isn't that bad, but the problem is the owner, Mark Davis, he just makes crazy decisions, and he's kind of difficult to deal with. So that would be hard to overcome. We haven't seen a quarterback in a long time overcome, the owner and have success in Oakland. But we're going to see. This draft is going to be very interesting because, you have a few top quarterbacks. You have other guys that are forgot about, like a Quinn Ewers that, maybe he could make some noise. He's had a lot of starts. We're seeing now that it looks like with Bo Nix and Michael Penix, and Jaden McDaniels, if they keep having success, I think we could see a trend towards quarterbacks with more, college experience instead of developmental guys like a Mitch Trubisky or Anthony Richardson. They're kind of trying to go away from that. And these quarterbacks in this class are very experienced. They're all seniors. They've all started a lot of games. They all have a lot of in-game experience. And I think that's what the NFL needs. I think the NFL needs to start going more towards that and towards, with these guys getting paid so good in college, to kind of push them towards, staying in college and getting paid and developing, because we've seen a lot of these quarterbacks leave too early, or they just come in off just straight potential. Like Anthony Richardson only played like 8 games in college, 10 games in college. That's just too less to be, giving him the keys his rookie year and then expecting him to be a good quarterback his second year when he's barely had any experience, at the college level or, now at the pro level. He needs time to develop. He needed more snaps to play in college so that he'd be ready. He'd already seen some of these defense. He's already seen everything, Like Bo Nix, you can literally say in the college level, he's seen everything because he had the most starts in college football history. So he's literally seen every defense, all that. So that's why he's had success this year. That's why he's done so well, because, he has experience instead of, choosing these potential guys. But also a lot of these teams, these top 5 teams, what they all need? Linemen. And honestly, the smartest choice in the draft usually is to draft a lineman. We saw it with the Bears. They swung for the fences with Caleb Williams, and they're going to regret it. They should have drafted a solid left tackle or a solid right tackle to secure that quarterback and to help the run game and to make the team better. these GMs and coaches and all that, I understand quarterback is the most important position. But you can win with a decent quarterback if you have a great team and you have an offensive line, because football is won in the trenches. Tom Brady wouldn't have been able to win if he had no offensive line. Patrick Mahomes, the Super Bowls he lost is because his offensive line fell apart. We see how Joe Burrow is an amazing quarterback. He does really well, but he struggles because his offensive line isn't that good, and they really hold him back. So offensive line is really the most important. I doubt an offensive line be drafted in top 5 because they love quarterbacks. They love skill players, but we'll see. All right, guys, please like, comment, and subscribe. It's Bias Sports. I'm out.